Hi, everyone, and welcome back to In the Kitchen with Wynn. On episode 11, I have Mike Miller, who is the CEO, or he likes to be called the Chief Fermentation Officer of Madge's Foods. Hi, Mike. How are you?
Doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. So, Mike, we actually met on the elevator pitch from BevNet, which
Yes.
was really cool. And I love what I'm all about fermentation and gut health. So can you tell our listeners what your business is and what kind of products you have?
Yeah. So Madge's Food Company, we manufacture gut healthy food and beverages. We like to say we make gut health easy and fermentalicious. We make anywhere from our most known for our kimchis, our vegan kimchis.
Mhm.
We do various flavors of unique sauerkrauts, vegetables, our very unique fermented bloody mix, which is the first fermented tomato juice on the market. And
Yeah.
then we do pickles too, as far as like the old style New York deli fermented pickles. And we sell the juice, the brine from the leftover pickles. So
Wow.
yeah,
Okay, making my mouth water because I love kimchi, I love sauerkraut, I love all pickles, and I actually need to get some pickle juice because I heard, I'm not sure if you know, but I'm an avid tennis player.
perfect for you.
And a few times I've cramped up in a match. My calf has cramped, and I've been told that pickle juice is the solution. So, can you tell me a little bit about like how do you package the pickle juice? Where do you sell it?
Yeah. So we actually, once we're done packing the pickles, we put it in a brine, or we separate the brine and
Oh, okay.
we bottle it. And right now we sell it in the Southwest region of Whole Foods. So I
Oh,
think it's in 4 states.
oh,
And obviously we're online on our website and Amazon.
okay. And
It's great for tennis players. I mean, it's summer here in Texas gets hot.
oh
And,
yeah,
it's wonderful for muscle cramps. It takes about 2 minutes to hit the system. It's
wow,
basically it's putting the electrolytes in your salts that you're losing through sweating.
right.
There's no sugars like Gatorade or anything, so it really hits your system really fast. Nothing to really process. So
Right. And I have to say, like, I don't like drinking Gatorade. I've had to a few times in an emergency when I'm playing, but I mix it with water. But yeah, there was a time where I'm like, someone just get me something salty,
yeah,
and that saltiness definitely helps. So I can't wait to try the pickle juice.
yeah, it's really great. I mean, it started it for us. Just my wife was like, "Hey, why are we throwing this away? This is like, you can drink
Mhm.
this."
Yeah.
We started bottling it, and it was, we tested on farmers markets, and it started selling really well. And then Whole Foods came to us and like, "What do you want?" And I'm like, "Okay, well, let's do it."
Wow.
Um, and it's great because it's kind of our part of our no waste mission, right? We try not to waste anything if we can, and we try to recycle anything that we can, and reuse our waste and make it a product. So
Right.
it's kind of the funny thing is now we sell more brine than pickles. So now we have the reverse problem where
Oh.
now we need more outlet for our pickles because our pickles are becoming a waste. It's really
Oh,
strange.
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So tell me a little bit like how did this business started? I mean, I know are you still a family-owned business and like based out of Texas? Like who came up with the idea?
Yeah, great question. So, yeah, it is still a family owned business. In fact, my son is my kimchi master.
Hmm.
He makes this kimchi faster and better than I ever did.
Hmm.
I don't go in the kitchen much because he usually kicks me out pretty fast. That's his domain, and yeah, I'm really impressed watching him kind of grow from a young boy or to a young man now, and really how he's really helped this company grow. Yeah, kind of the story started. Madge's was my grandmother, and believe it or
Oh.
not, she was. I remember her for two foods that she made growing up were her tomato jam and her bread and butter pickles.
Hmm.
And so I used to work the oil business. So I was all over Louisiana and South Texas working for oil companies. That was kind of my midlife crisis.
Okay.
And I was looking for this tomato jam at every little country store I could find. Finally found one in the middle of nowhere, Texas. Was so excited, took it home, put a spoonful in my mouth, and about spit it out as fast. And I'm
Wow.
like, oh my God, that's not grandma's. So when I got back,
Hmm.
the wife was like, "Hey, why don't we just make it? You've been talking about this for 20 years." So we made it.
Hmm.
And that's how man just started. It just next thing you know, we were like, "Hey, this actually tastes kind of good." And
Uh-huh. Yep.
friends liked it. And we're like, I wonder if we could do something with this. We
Yeah.
make grandma's bread and butter pickles, right? And that's like pickled candy. I mean, it's a lot of sugar. And
Mhm.
at the same time, we grew up in LA. So we kind of here moved to Texas. And we're like, you know what, man, I miss those Jewish delis. And hey, how
Yeah.
about we learn how to make pickles? And how about we learn to do this and that? And next thing you know, I fell in love with fermenting.
Yeah.
And then I was doing everything. I got the bug and it fermented anything and everything. And eventually we just said, you know what, if we're really about kind of making better food products and a better for you product, we really need to stop the sugar products. So we kind of went all in with the fermented using no sugar in any product. And that's kind of how we got to where we're at now. So
Yeah, I love that. I mean, as you know, my company Wynn's Kitchen, same thing. We don't use any added sugar. And, you know, sugar is the one thing where I get it. If I'm splurging on like a slice of cake for a special event, I know I'm eating something sweet with sugar. But the most dangerous part is that there are so many products on the market that have those hidden sugars. I was buying coconut water the other day. I had to look through, or like chicken stock. I had to look through like 5, 6 different brands in order to find the one that didn't have sugar. And I feel like the sugar doesn't enhance any flavor or anything. So
yeah,
why consume it, right?
I agree. Especially for fermenting, I'm like, I never understood it. I think it's just way it's always been. You know,
Yes,
like I didn't think we were being so cutting edge when we decided not to put sugar in our kimchi. I
right,
just thought, I go, why is it in there? It's not needed. And
right.
I believe me, I've got plenty of look from Koreans going no sugar, and I
Yes,
just like I don't understand why.
right,
Understanding the science of fermentation, I'm like, you don't need it. So
right.
we kind of did it, and next thing you know, it's like we didn't realize that was actually one of our unique selling differences was
Yeah,
that we were sugar free.
yeah.
So it's kind of yeah, it was interesting.
That's awesome. And I know you mentioned that you guys manufacture your own products.
Correct.
Have you ever thought about co-packing, or do you and your family enjoy like the process and keeping it in-house?
I don't think there's a lot of kimchi manufacturers that unfortunately, that's one of the issues, right? There's not a lot, so
Mhm.
there's not a lot of co-packers, and I think the one company I know, a competitor that did co-pack, I really noticed a crappy quality change.
Um,
I'm not going down that same route. And the other issue I have, and maybe this is a bigger picture, right? And it's easier said than done because it costs a lot of money to be
right,
your own manufacturer. Is if like for us, we started off to change the food industry in
mhm,
our own little way, and so if we end up co-packing to that same 5% that manufactures for the rest of us 95%, how well are we changing things? So
right.
maybe it's more mission driven. Maybe it's more I'm just stubborn, hard headed, like to do things the hard way, not the easy way. I
Right,
mean, believe me, there are days where I would love just to focus on brand building and
right,
sales.
right.
And I'm envious of those that do because it's just a lot less headaches. So we've talked about it, but we haven't found, I think, a solution yet that made sense for us. So we at this point, I think we're just all in.
Right. I love that. And to be honest, like I do have a co-packer for my products, but I think that the food industry, especially, pioneering, doing something different, trying to make the traditional things. People are used to eating a certain brand with sugar or chemicals, and kind of breaking out of that. It's hard. There's so many different challenges and obstacles, and there is a lot of letting go of control, and that's something I've had to learn. It wasn't easy for me.
It's about your gut.
Yes, yes, it's hard.
It's a gut health issue, believe it or not. That sweet tooth that we get is a trigger from your gut saying feed me. And a lot of
Right,
time it's showing how your gut health is aligned, not always with the proper it's really trippy. Yeah, it's the microbes are really the ones that give us that sweet tooth. So
Right.
it's kind of, we feed it, and it makes it happy, but that's not always the right we need. So
It's the
um,
addiction. It becomes the addiction, right?
I love this whole gut health thing, because even though it's been around for a long time, it's cutting edge bioscience. It really is the edge of the new frontier of bioscience. So it's so cool.
I love it. I mean, I love kimchi. I love pickles. I actually even like sauerkraut too. Like, I can imagine, like, co-packing something like that. You can lose some of that quality because I like it when it's a little bit crunchier. Because I've had sauerkraut where it's like really mushy and it's like,
Yes.
ugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
We go for the crunch. We like the young stuff, not the old. Yeah.
right.
It's
And
we're
so
pretty picky about that. So I think that's why we've gone down the route we have.
I love it. Well, I can't wait to try all your products. And I'll definitely share. And so, Mike, I know before we actually started recording, we were talking a little bit about this entrepreneurship journey through the food CPG industry, and kind of the emotional roller coaster of, good days and bad days. Can you tell me a little bit about like how you manage that and
Well, I don't drink.
what are some things that you do to keep yourself motivated?
Humor.
Good.
I'm notorious for saying bad jokes at the wrong time, right? It just, that's how I deal with tough situations. Is, if you're on your deathbed, I'm gonna crack a joke. It's
Yeah.
just, it's how I deal with it. So I try to keep positive, realizing that this entrepreneur journey is a roller coaster.
Hmm.
Uh, I think I want to quit this business at least 18 times a week.
Right.
But luckily, I'm too stubborn. I fight back 19 times, right? So, yeah, but I think as we were talking, yeah, this is probably the most difficult thing that I've ever done in all my different careers.
Hmm.
But at the same time, this is probably the most satisfying. I've done service industries where you're selling intangibles. This is like an intangible product where
Right.
people immediately get, and you get that instantaneous feedback like, hey, and then you get the stories. We get the stories from post cancer, chemo treatment patients about how they rebuilt their gut health with our products, and all this. And it just goes, man, this is the bigger purpose. And you're like, I'm fighting a bigger cause than just making a product. And I
I
think that's
agree.
what gets me connected when things go wrong and are difficult and we run out of cash, or jar suppliers, are out of product. We can't get anything for 3 weeks. And Amazon's screaming at us or shutting us down because, people don't read descriptions or whatever. The various challenges that come
There.
up.
Hmm.
Get that one email letter from a customer saying, oh my gosh, this is the best I've ever had. And it just like, it all disappears, and it just keeps you grounded to why you're doing this. And I think that's important. It's why I tell entrepreneurs all the time, especially in the food business, always think about why you're doing this, your purpose,
Yeah.
because that's what's going to help you stay grounded and go through the ups and downs. Because if you're just in this to make money, you're silly.
Right.
But if you're in this because you're trying to do something bigger, whether your different heritage products, or something your mom did, I mean, you got to stay grounded, because that's going to keep you motivated in the ups and downs.
Right. And I have to agree with you. I've had a very eclectic career in various backgrounds, from banking to I was a wedding planner for 12 years, and then real estate. And this is the most difficult career, and but the most satisfying. Like, it brings me so much joy, and just hearing people say, wow, like I haven't been able to have these flavors because, I there's nothing on the market.
Correct.
And people have no idea how hard it is to get on the market, to get on those shelves. I really, really underestimated the amount of money it takes as well. And so I know, I've done some fundraising, and I know we've talked about it. As far as, you guys haven't fundraised. How are you with scaling? Like, how many stores are you in? Where can people find you in brick and mortar stores?
So brick and mortar, we're only probably in maybe like a half a dozen out in California, which is, um, we would definitely need to focus more on California. That's where our story began.
Okay.
It's just kind of like the path of least resistance. I think, because we manufacture our own product, I have so much to worry about. Sales is one thing I have not been doing.
Mhm.
Basically, a lot of our businesses come to us.
Okay.
So it's kind of been, you call it lazy, call it, opportunistic, but it's not necessarily the most strategic way. So as far as brick and mortar, we're in Texas at any Whole Foods. Are some of our products for the whole region. So Arkansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Texas. If you're in New York City, we're carried in like 150 locations out there. Yeah. Really deep in Philly, Pennsylvania, Philly, New York, and then a couple of New Jersey City locations. So yeah, that's been a recent launch about in December, and New
Mhm.
York's gone very well. So for us, it's just, I think if I can find partners, we'll grow a lot more because I just want to focus on making this stuff and keeping up and
Right.
looking for the right partners to help us grow. And then, of course, Amazon. I think I'm the king of kimchi on Amazon. If
Okay.
we haven't been put in Amazon jail.
Good, good. So, and would you say did you start off the business mostly direct to consumers?
Now we did the old farmers market route,
Okay.
yeah. So we started off doing farmers markets, and then I think Central Market was our first like foray into retail, and then we had a huge thing happen for us. It's kind of, we got time to go in another story. It's kind of a win lose situation. We were a finalist in HEB Quest for the Best, which is they pick like the top 20 brands in the state of Texas and give you the opportunity to compete for money and some stuff. We were a finalist. We were excited because we were going to launch into 185 HEBs with our Bloody Mary mix,
Mhm.
and COVID hit
Yeah.
and shut us down as far as our product went to Houston, literally sat in a warehouse, was rejected, said it's non-essential. So needless to say, when you're the first in the market and then you are doing a big product launch in the middle of a lockdown, not
Yeah.
a good way to launch a product. So it literally was a disaster. Fell flat on our face. But luckily, Whole Foods a few months later came to us and said, "Hey, we'd like to start carrying your kimchi."
Wow.
And the kimchi's just been a skyrocket ride ever since. So, when one door closes, another opens.
I agree with that. And what's really fascinating because I mean kimchi comes from Korean, right? Korean background. And I mean I love kimchi. I've always eaten kimchi. But you're right. I can go to, being in Southern California, there's like a million different types of Asian markets all around. They all carry kimchi. But they do all have, a lot of them have MSG. A
Yeah.
lot of them have, anchovies, fish, or shrimp products. And I know there are people who are allergic to
Right.
shellfish. And the other thing is sugar. So I'm just so I mean, so your vegan kimchi has no sugar.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow.
Nothing that we make
Wow.
today uses sugar, period.
Wow.
And that's our uniqueness. No sugar, no fish, no shrimp, no seafood. And then we give really a lot of honor to, I think, the way kimchi used to be made.
Right.
Uh, we tend to ferment it a lot longer. So our profile is a little more sour, but
Hmm.
we're doing that because we're really focused on the gut health. So we want a more active, lively, fermented kimchi.
Right.
And then the fish, and I like to make fun of the other brands out there that say, well, I'm going to make a vegan kimchi, and they just leave out the fish sauce. Well, there's a reason that fish sauce was in there, right? For flavor profile. So
Right.
what we did is we just understood the science, what that was. We just found plant-based solutions that gave those glutamates
Right.
in there without using the fish sauce. Because it wasn't so because I was a vegan. It was, we had a scratch rule. We had to make everything from scratch.
Wow.
And well, we were not about to make commercial scale fish sauce. I don't think A, we legally can in the United States, and B, our neighbors would have probably run us out of town by now.
Right. I am just so impressed. I mean, being non-Korean, right? And being able to make a vegan kimchi that, I mean, Whole Foods is knocking on your door to get when there's so many other, brands out there that only do kimchis and have been doing kimchi. So I'm super impressed. And one other point I want to hit is, I mean, I'm not vegan or vegetarian. But I love vegetables. I mean, when I want, there are a few days a week where I don't eat meat, but I do notice most vegan restaurants I go to or vegan recipes have so much sugar. So,
Yes.
and like you said, I've had people ask me like, "Oh, can you make a vegan version of your satay sauce?" And I'm Vietnamese. I'll be honest, I live on fish sauce, but
Yes.
quality
Yes. I
fish.
love it.
And I'd love to have, a vegan version or recipes with vegan because I do have friends that are 100% vegetarians. But the issue is so many of them are just riddled with sugar or and wheat. So it's like I haven't found a fish sauce, a vegan fish sauce on the market that I could use that doesn't have sugar or wheat. And so I just kind of said, all right, I'm just gonna not explore that right now for my product. So I'm
It is
super
challenging. It is
very,
challenging.
very impressed. Well, if you ever make that vegan fish sauce, you got to let me know.
That was always a talk years ago. And speaking of one last thing, I know we're running out of time, but I'll tell you, missed it earlier. We just barrel or opened our first batch of bourbon barrel fermented kosher pickles. That's about
Wow, that sounds
we did
amazing.
200 pounds in an old oak bourbon barrel, and they came out just, I mean, the flavor profile is unique. So I said, I wish we could sample through Zoom because it's
Oh my
crazy.
gosh. I can't wait to try that one.
I'm kind of a nerd. That's one of our goals too, is trying to push the bounds of
Yeah,
product development within this fermentation space, coming up with things that people haven't done before or something new, not just, hey, let me come out with another freaking plain sauerkraut or the same old
exactly.
cream cheese that frankly 10 other brands are doing. What can we do different? How can we push the envelope and yet, still make it gut healthy and delicious? It's got to be good.
Exactly. And you know what, Mike, I mean, I can see your passion and that's what I love and hear it. And that's what I love. I love doing this podcast because I was connecting with other food founders anyway. But it's just like hearing these stories, it helps me when I have those bad days or those bad moments. And I'm like, gosh, what the heck am I doing with my life? And we all have had those, just hearing someone else's journey, the ups, the downs, and just more importantly, really hearing your passion. Like when I hear you talk about like the bourbon pickle, and I'm just it's very inspiring, and it makes me excited to try all your products. And I love supporting other local and independent produce and food products. There's just so much love and hard work that goes into it. And it really is the road less traveled, right?
Yes, this is your therapy. Podcast. I used to do a podcast 3 years ago, and I miss it because it's like my personal therapy.
It
It's
is.
a way of expressing how you feel sometimes. So who knows who's listening, but it's helpful for your own journey as well. Yeah.
It does. It helps me, and other people have told me it's helped them. And
Mhm.
and I just love it. I love hearing stories. And even before I did this for a long time, I've always like subscribed to, I think it was like Sunset Magazine or those food magazines. And then I would read these stories about how, someone started their product from their kitchen, or how they, to solve their problem. I just never thought I would be one of those people, but I just found it so inspiring. And it's someone really taking that risk and putting everything on the line to follow their heart and their passion. And like you said, to find a larger purpose. It's not just a product. I mean, I could probably find products on Amazon, repackage and resell, and make money. But that's not the why, right? It's purpose driven, and I love it. So can you tell our listeners, like, where can I know we can find it on Amazon, but I'm assuming that it's better to find it on your website to put
Yes, yes.
website. I want to make that clear. Most people don't realize that, but so let the listeners know where is the best place to order your products.
So madgesfood.com. That's MADGES food.com is the best way. And then of course, Madge's Food on any of our social media. Usually we're pretty consistent with that handle. So yeah, I think if you go on Facebook or TikTok, I think has our first unbarreling of the bourbon barrel, and you'll see all the CO2 bubbling up, and yeah, it's kind of cool. So
that's super cool. Well, I definitely will put in an order. I can't wait to try your products. And thank you so much for being on the show. And I'll definitely put in the notes, like the website where everyone can find you. And yeah, I wish you the best of luck. And I can't wait to continue to connect with you on social media.
Absolutely.
We've been doing. So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Mike.
No problem. And who knows, I think you're a neighbor to my sister. She lives in the same city as you. So
come on over. I'll have you over for dinner at Wynn's Kitchen.
And she's vegan, so she can give you all the insights on how to develop a vegan product. So
okay, well, I'll make sure you have a vegan meal when you come.
Yes.
I do know how, and I do enjoy it. But
well, I'm sure I've got a delivery out there that's been waiting for me, so I appreciate it. It was so nice meeting you.
Nice meeting and nice chatting with you.
Bye.
Bye.